Welcome, everybody. And this session is going to be really amazing because I want to share with you something that God has really put into my heart and spoken to me. Whenever I come and, I decide to share the word, a revelation, I always seek the Lord for confirmations. I seek the Lord and I ask the Lord whether um, is this really what you want me to speak? Because I see what I speak has an impact. So if it is really going to have good impact in people's life, that's where I say, okay, let me share this thing, what you have spoken to me. And I believe God has really spoken to my heart, and that's what I'm going to share today. And today is what I'm going to share with you is about how do you walk in a divine purpose, in your divine purpose that God has designed in your life. And how do you use the cross as a tool to understand what is the purpose that God has created in your life? So if you, okay, let me just bring my video on the spotlight. Okay, there you go. So, yeah. So it is very important today, many a times when we live into this earth, and especially when we see people, our close ones, our near and dear ones passing, dying, we are always faced with this question: what is purpose of life? What is my purpose in this world? Why am I existing in this world? Why, what am I supposed to do into this world? And so this question, I'm sure uh, almost all of you have faced and come across. And I was pondering upon this question also, and that's where I felt the Lord speaking to my heart, and that's what I want to share my perspective on and my belief and what I believe that God has spoken to me. Now, if you see uh, the universe, the nature, or anything in the earth, on the earth, will always reveal to you the design or the pattern or the message or the heart of God. If you look at the nature will always reveal to you the heart of God. And so if when I was asking this question, God told me, start looking across everything and you will get the answer. And then I realized, if you really minutely see that the main purpose of everything that is there on earth, which you can see, if you see anything right now, you will see that particular thing gets used, and in the process of being used, that particular thing will one day wear off and die. Correct? Now, for example, what is the purpose of a tree to exist? So if you see a tree which is existing, now people think the tree is actually existing for him itself. But the truth is the tree is existing uh, to give fruits, to give shadow, to give oxygen around. And by doing so, we see at one point of time, the tree is giving out so much that it sacrifices itself and dies off. Let's look at our own life. When we are, let's say, if you are a parent, we see a mother, a father would do so much for the children, sacrifice so much, give so much. And if you ask them, why are you doing so much? You will see that inner voice of every parent saying, I'm doing it for my children. I'm doing it for my people who are going to come after me. I'm doing this. Why are you working so hard? Why are you doing so much? You will see them saying, I'm doing all this for my children, my grandchildren, so that they may live a good life. And then you see a person working hard entire life, struggling, earning, and finally the person dies. It's kind of a sacrifice that a person gives. Um, I know of, I was once watching this National Geography channel or Discovery channel, something like that. And there is a certain kind of spider. And the whole thing about the spider is, I don't know, but the name of the spider, all these things. The concept that I've seen is this male spider goes and mates with a female spider. And when the male spider mates with the female spider, and when his job is done, the female spider kills the male spider and eats the male spider. So actually what the male spider is doing, the male spider, in order to reproduce, in order to create life, to bring life, sacrifices himself to create something, sacrifices himself and gives his life. And this particular principle can be seen in everything that you see around. If what is the purpose of this mobile? The purpose of this mobile is it's going to be used, it's going to be used, it's going to be used so much that one day it's going to die off. It's living a life of sacrifice. There is nothing in this world that you can tell me that does not live, that lives without sacrificing. And the whole idea about the cross is, you see, we have a way of looking at the cross, and which is good. If you look at the cross, we see Jesus dying on the cross, and we talk about something called as the divine exchange. We say, when we look at the cross, he took my sins and he forgave my sins. We look at the cross, we say, he took my sickness and he healed my diseases. We look at the cross and we say, he took my punishment, he took my pain, and he brought healing and restoration into my life. It's a beautiful way to look at the cross. But tonight or today, I want to bring a very different perspective of looking at the cross. Let's look at the life of Jesus. Let's look at the cross. If you look at the cross, if you look at Jesus, why actually Jesus came into this world, Hebrews chapter 1 says he was the ultimate expression of the Father. He was the ultimate expression of God in our life. And so that means if you really want to understand the heart of God, you got to look at the life of Jesus, and we will be able to understand the heart of the divine, the heart of God. And if you see Jesus, what he does, he lives his life, and at the end of life, we see him dying on the cross, sacrificing himself for the whole humanity. And so when we talk about Jesus, who is this Jesus? Who is this Christ? Jesus brings a kind of a blueprint. I want you to put this word into your mind. The word blueprint. Jesus lays down a blueprint, a kind of a map, and he says, look, this is a blueprint of every human being on earth. This is a blueprint of the whole nature, because Christ, who was in everything, when comes down, lowers his frequency down and becomes the flesh, in material form. That Christ is called Jesus. And when Jesus is expressing himself, he is laying down a blueprint for each one of us to look at him and understand, this is a blueprint of my life. So when I'm looking at Jesus, I'm looking at a mirror, and I'm seeing that this is how my life is. This is who I am. When I'm looking at Jesus, I'm looking at actually my original identity. And so what am I looking at? I am looking at something called as the purpose, the ultimate purpose, the divine purpose, the basic foundation of why am I existing. If you look at Jesus, we see he lived a sacrificial life. He died a sacrificial death, a death which we can say an unconditional sacrificial death. And when we see that, we will understand that my purpose of being on this earth is to live a sacrificial life. Now, trust me, if you are a grace believer, I've been preaching grace for now so many years. I've been persecuted for preaching grace and all that stuff. But knowing all that, I want to tell you this. If we don't understand this message, we will never understand the purpose of our life. And we will not be able to be the best that we can be. So when we look at Jesus, what has he done? We see a guy dying on the cross, being sacrificed, laying down his life for all humanity. And this tells us that we on earth, firstly, are there existing to live a life of highest frequency. Now, what do I mean by highest frequency? Love is the highest frequency that a person can have. And when we have love, the highest frequency, I'm talking about not just love that we talk about in a worldly term. I'm talking about unconditional, sacrificial love. And if you look at minutely, consciously or subconsciously, everything that exists on earth is having having a sacrificial existence. Everyone is sacrificing himself or herself for betterment of somebody else. You see? So look at any relationship. The husband gets married to a woman, woman gets married to a man. The man is going for work, works hard. He's sacrificing so much for the woman. The woman is working hard, maybe at home, cooking, all that stuff, sacrifices everything for the man. The woman gets pregnant. She goes through pain, sacrificing her life for the children. The man is working hard, doing a job, 12-hour job, 9-to-5 job, whatsoever, sacrificing himself, and we call this life. And that exactly what is, if we come into consciousness and we start being aware that our life needs to be a sacrificial life, a life which needs to be giving, then I'm telling you, this is what is going to happen. You are automatically going to start aligning yourself to the purpose of God, and then suddenly you will see that synchronicity will start happening. Suddenly you will see everything in your life will start falling in place. Everything in your life will start falling in place. When you come into your ultimate awareness that my life needs to be a life of giving. The problem here in the world is that we live a life, because the world is been programmed in such a way that we have been programmed to become consumers. And so we start looking at life as consumers. What can I get? What can I receive? How can I get this? How can I get that? So even when we look at the cross, believe me, this is going to might offend the grace believers. But when we look at the cross, we are looking at what we can get out of that cross, which is beautiful. Even I do that. But we are missing on something. We are not looking at what Christ has done on the cross. When we look at the cross, it with the eyes of Christ sacrificing, giving his everything, every drop of his blood. As we look at that, we can get programmed in our mind, and we can be like that Christ who is going to sacrifice, live a sacrificial life in this world. And it is so important, guys. What I'm trying to tell you today is we don't want to pay a price. The problem today is the world is turning into a consumer-minded world, and we are turning into so much consumer-minded world that we do not want to pay the price. We just want to consume, receive, take, and we don't want to give. But the life of Christ is not about being a consumer. The life of Christ is about being a giver. Is being abundant in life and giving out that love, giving out everything that you have. And when you start doing that, giving your time to your children, giving your finances for the good cause, giving your energy for something. When we live a life of giving, our ego comes down and our frequency starts aligning to something called as universal God frequency. And when we start connecting to the universal God frequency, suddenly you will see that you were having financial problem. That financial problem is now just disappearing. It's just getting evaporated. You had some family issues. You had some property issues. You have some kind of problems in your life. They are just getting evaporated because now you are falling into the mathematics of God, of the divine. Are you understanding? Are you understanding this? You can put in the comment below. Is this interesting? So, you know, when I look at the cross, when we look at the cross, what are we saying? Are we just saying, I receive the healing of Jesus, I receive the miracles of Jesus, I receive the goodness, that's good. But are we seeing how much of what price that Jesus paid? What price that Christ has paid? What he has done? How much of sacrifice that he has done? Are we seeing what he has done? How much he gave himself to the world? How much he gave himself to the world? It is when Jesus gave himself to the world, he was raised up on the cross. And it was because of that he got resurrected, and he had impact over the world. So in the similar way, when we start having a nature, a character of being sacrificial, of being giving, when we start giving our life for the society that we live in, for the community we live in, for the world that we live in, when we start giving our life, what we are doing is we are raising our frequency, and also we are having an impact into this world. and aligning to the purpose that God has called us. I hope you're understanding what I'm trying to say. And so I want to have what you call them, these words in your mind. Paying a price. You see, when the whole grace revolution has come, we have understood the grace message. One thing the grace message we have not understood is we have understood that Christ has paid the price, but we don't understand that Christ is a mirror. When we look at him, the life of Jesus is a mirror. When we look at the mirror, we are looking at our life, and we should understand that we are reflection. We need to reflect the same thing what Christ has done in our life. And so are we people who are ready to pay a price? Today, the reason why we are not having an impact over this world is because we are not ready to pay the price. Look at any successful man on earth. The person is successful because he has paid a price to become successful. Now, mind you, I'm not taking you away from the grace message. I'm talking about grace that empowers you to become who you really are. And so, I want to tell you, the place that I am in, let me share with you some of the stuff that I go through, and how, so that you can relate to it and you can understand how the price that I pay for what I do. A couple of months back, I think 4 months back, I got this offer to do a prophetic school. And for this prophetic school, it all started. There were 75 people. It was organized by somebody who was in US. And when we started this prophetic school, they paid me, the school cost, there were fees for this prophetic school, and it was almost like, let's say in Indian rupees, it was almost like 6 lakhs or 7 lakh rupees. That would be around $10,000 to $12,000. I'm just giving you a round figure. Around 10 to 12,000 was offered to me, and everything was done. People had paid the money for this prophetic school, and I was teaching this people how to prophesy, and it was, amazing prophetic school. I had done all my studies, and I was about to give the best knowledge to these people into the prophetic. And suddenly, in the middle of this prophetic school, the organizer said to me, Vernul, please remove your posts that you are posting about there is no Lucifer, there is no, your post about you doing yoga and all this stuff. Remove this post at least till the prophetic school is going on. After the prophetic school is over, you can put your videos back again, you can put your posts back again. And when that was told to me to remove all my videos, remove everything, I told the person, see, I'm not going to remove anything off. This is me. If I remove it and then I put it later on, then people will say what we got into. This guy has cheated us, all this stuff. So I said, I'm true to myself. I would love to stay in my integrity. And I said, I'm not going to remove any of my videos, any of my posts on Facebook. Rather, what I'll do is I will, if you want me, I will return all your money back, and we can close down the prophetic school. Trust me, I had done a couple of sessions. I returned all the money, even of those sessions, back to those people. And so what I want to tell you is I had to pay a price. I had to pay a price for what I believe in. I had to pay a price. I had to sacrifice. I had to give out myself for what I believe in. Uh, Recently, what had happened is our church, we have um, Sunday services here in Goa, and what happened is recently the owner of the church, the church hall, the church building, said to us, we don't agree with your teaching, so we are not going to allow you to preach in this building. We said fine, but we are not going to change. We are not going to stop uh, paying the price for what we are preaching. So this is just instance. You won't believe the amount of church members that we lose. You won't believe the amount of friends that we lose. You won't believe the relations that break. You won't believe how many people accuse us, persecute us, and we have to go through all of that just to bring the revelations that if you go through my YouTube video, just to bring that revelation out to you guys. Vernul and Vernul's family and Vernul's church here down here in Goa have to pay a price. And if I had not paid a price, the revelation would never come to you guys. All the revelation that we bring in will never come to you. If I don't live a life of sacrifice, if I don't live a life of paying the price, if I don't look at the cross, as a blueprint which teaches me to pay a price for what you believe in, if I don't look at the cross in that manner, the new revelations would never come to you guys. And I believe this is what is missing in the grace revolution. Because we think, oh, Christ has paid the price and all we need to do is fold our hands. We have forgotten that the disciples and the apostles gave their life because they understood the divine purpose of existence into this world is sacrificial love. Is sacrificial love. The day we understand that our minds get shifted from consumer minds to a sacrificial giving mind, we will understand now we are Christ on earth. How to be Christ on earth? Start paying price. Start paying the price. I remember, it's crazy. People do not understand how to pay a price. And why people are not able to understand, and why we preachers, we Christians are not being able to teach this to people, is because we are looking at the cross only with the lens of receiving from it, but we are not looking at the cross that Christ was giving, and it is not transforming us. It's not making us understand that we are the reflection of this Christ who is giving. He gave his whole life. He gave his blood, even his last drop, and even the water that was there in his body came out. If we understand that, we will start giving. It's so crazy sometimes. I remember around, I think 3 or 4 years back, when I was moving very good in the prophetic. Trust me, my wife is the witness. I was prophesying, having prophetic session, one-to-one prophetic session, late at night, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the night for me. And when I was having that, trust me, I would not take a rupee. I would not take $1 from anybody. And this went on for months. I would prophesy and prophesy and prophesy. And I would tell people, situations, and God used to minister, the Holy Spirit used to minister to people. And I used to never, even if when somebody said, I want to give you an offering, what is your PayPal account, what is this account, I would tell them I really don't do it for money. And I would clearly give myself to people, but I would ask everyone whom I minister to just share a testimony, just half a minute testimony. And this is, I tell you, it's so crazy. It's so crazy the amount of excuses that I would get. Like somebody would say, I have phobia towards the camera. Somebody would say, I don't want to reveal my identity. Someone else would say, I'm not comfortable because of so and so. So I would get the amount of excuses that I would get. And I noticed that people were so consumer minded. They were not ready to pay the price. There is a guy in front of them who is having sleepless night, ministering to them, paying a price, but they were not ready to pay a price. I'm not saying somebody, it happens to me also. I watch YouTube videos. I get so much of information and knowledge from my mentors, my teachers. And when I listen to them, I'm blasted with the revelation, but I forget to put that like button on the YouTube. Why? Because my mind is consumer mindset. I just want to receive, and it's so difficult just to press that like button. It's just difficult to press that share button. I don't want to share the messages. I don't want to share the message. I say it's amazing message. I say it's beautiful message. I am receiving this message. This revelation is amazing, but it is difficult for me to share it on my Facebook, to share it on WhatsApp. And why am I not sharing? There are like 101 excuses why I'm not sharing. Maybe I'm saying my friends won't like it. People might think I'm too religious. This one might say, somebody might say this is not appropriate. This one, the reasons are 1,000 reasons why I'm not sharing. But the real underlying reason is I am a consumer-minded Christian. I am, and when you become a consumer-minded, we are not living in the divine purpose that God has created us. I mean, look at everything around you. Look at everything around you. Everything lives for somebody else. Everything around you. Look at the nature around you. The nature is living for somebody else. Now you will say, somebody is very selfish. Look at the very essence of death. When somebody dies, he's actually giving his body as food for the worms, for the bacteria, for the fungi. He's sacrificing his body there. Look at the nature. And the body literally becomes like a fertilizer to a tree. Then the tree grows, the plant grows into a tree, starts becoming food. That fruit is given to another people. The tree dies. The tree has sacrificed itself to humanity. Then people who eat that fruit become strong. They do some sacrifice for others. They die. Their body disintegrates, becomes a sacrifice. If you see the cycle of life, you can clearly see a life full of sacrifice. A life full of sacrificial living. When you look at the cross and you get awakened to this reality, that you start shifting your gears from consumer mindset to Christ sacrificial life, suddenly you will start seeing the realm that you are living in is going to shift. Suddenly you will see you are becoming more like a giver. You don't care what people are doing to you, but you care for how much you can do for this society, for this world. You don't care who hurts you, who offends you, who robs you. You don't get victimized, but you become a victorious person because now you live according to the cross, a life of sacrifice. Are you understanding, guys? Can you comment below so that I know what is happening into you? Come on, don't be consumer mindset. Comment below. Are you understanding? Christ came to change our psyche from consumer mindset to a person who is ready to pay the price. Who is ready to pay the price. And if you see immediately when the disciples of Jesus were there, each and every disciple was martyred. He sacrificed his life. They gave themselves up for the revelation that they wanted to bring into this world. For the revelation that they wanted to bring into this world. Today, we don't want to pay the price. And if you're not going to pay the price, and when I'm saying pay the price, I'm not talking about paying the price like how in the law. The love of Christ, the sacrifice of Christ on the cross, it becomes a catalyst, a reactive force into you, that the real you who is love, the real frequency of love inside you is projected out now when you look at the cross. When you look at the sacrifice of Jesus, your love starts getting projected, it becomes activated. And now you are paying the price not because of some law or rule or regulation put down, but you are paying the price because of pure love for humanity, for society, for the world around you. And when people look at you, they will look at you as only like Christ, who is a giver, who gave, who laid himself down to give. And when we come to that place, trust me guys, if you want to see prophetic, trust me guys, if you want to, when you speak a word and you want to see it come to pass, being accurate in prophecy, you want to see everything, synchronicity happening in your life, you want to see healing, you want to see everything moving according to the divine purpose, you need to understand this divine purpose. This basic purpose of God is of existence. Everything exists to become a loving sacrifice. Everything exists to become a loving sacrifice. And if we understand this, we will be ready to pay the price no matter what. No matter what. We will be ready to pay the price for revelations to come out. We will be ready to pay a price to remain faithful to people. We will be ready to pay the price to be true in this world. We will be ready to pay the price. You know, today, after this grace, I believe in Christian mysticism. We practice, you know very well, we practice Christian mysticism. We practice so much. I'm a grace preacher. I've been grace preacher for so many years. But I believe in all these things, sometimes um, what happens is there is something called as pendulum effect. Let me explain to you. Pendulum effect. You see this pendulum? So if you see the pendulum, it's moving from one side to the other, one side to the other, one side to the other. It's either one side or the other side. But at one point, the pendulum comes at the center and becomes balanced. This is exactly what happens to all of us. When we come into the grace revelation, we jump to one side, we become polarized. When we come to some other doctrine, other revelation, mysticism, we go to the other side, we become polarized. And that happened to me until we come to a balanced place and we understand and we see that I have been polarized. Because when I came into mysticism, I thought there's no need of church. There's no need of church community. Why should I commit myself to a church community? Church is a dirty word. Why should I commit myself? And then I realized, no, a community, a tribe is important. I need to commit myself. When I came into grace, why should I pray? God, Jesus has already paid the price. Why should I fast? Jesus has already paid the price. He has done it all. It is finished. I said that, and I did not fast. I did not pray. My prayer life was zero. I was going through tough times till I understand. Now I need to pray. I need to fast, but out of sacrificial love. This is what I want to share with you. Let's learn, let's look at the cross, and let's understand that we need to pay a price. And the price might be we might lose friends. The price might be we have to get committed to a culture, to a community, to a religious community, or to a so-called a church community. The price might be we might have to share. We might be, this is why I've personally learned from Wow Life, Prophet Kirby's church, that I decided myself to commit few hours of the month in coaching Wow Life church members. I mean, I have my own separate church. I have my own independent church. But I decided, because I have learned so much from this guy, I said, let me just not be consumer, but let me pay a price for what I'm receiving. Because until and unless you pay the price, you won't understand the value of what is happening. We have forgotten the value of the cross because we have not understood the price that Christ has paid on the cross. And so, my case, I decided almost 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 hours of my month, I will commit myself to coaching Wow Life community members. Maybe I can't do it financially, so at least I will pay my price through my time. Today I want to share with you, I want to say, submit to you, and I want to tell you how you can walk in the divine purpose of God. I want you to have first an awareness that you are not just consumer, but you are sacrificial love personified. You are sacrificial love personified. And so I submit to you, every moment of your life, ask this question. This, what am I doing? Is it my sacrificial love for this humanity? Am I giving my best? Am I doing my best? Am I sacrificing? Am I giving, or am I only receiving? If I'm doing something for my husband, am I doing it as Christ? If I'm doing something for my wife, am I doing it as sacrificial love of Christ? If I'm doing something on this earth, if I'm doing a church, if I'm doing a ministry, why am I doing it? Today, Christians are doing ministry. Christians are doing church because they don't want to go to hell or heaven or whatever, but they are not understanding the purpose of life is just to become sacrificial love. This example can be only seen through Christ on the cross. Once we start doing this, trust me guys, trust me, today's message, once you start doing this, you will automatically see yourself getting into the metrics of God, into the mathematics of God, into the calculations of God, where everything will start aligning and you will suddenly see all things are happening automatically. You don't have to struggle. You don't have to struggle. You are doing everything at your workplace. You are being a sacrifice, a living. That's why Romans chapter 12 verse 1 says, offer your bodies as a living sacrifice. This is a true worship. And so when you're going for a work, you're doing your job, why are you doing? If you are a consumer mind, you will say, I'm working because I want to earn money. That's consumer mind. But ask your question, are you working to contribute to the society, to contribute to the company, to contribute to the world? Are you doing it as a sacrificial love for people? So when you start doing it, trust me guys, trust me on this, you will see a shift that is going to happen in your spiritual realm. You know, I don't work. I have my own music institute now. I teach music during apart from ministry, and I suddenly started seeing that during this COVID season, it was shut down. My music job was shut down, and I was feeling depressed and sad. And now things are getting better, so I started back working, and suddenly I started seeing that depression lifting off, that heaviness lifting off. Why? Because then I started understanding start aligning to my purpose of being sacrificial, losing an energy to see a child being into a musician. But if I start working, teaching music because it's giving me money, it's paying me money, and it's because of money I do it, then I'm again becoming the consumer-minded Christian. I need to be a sacrificial guy. And you will see automatically when you become a sacrificial person, you know, you don't have to run after money. Money will start running after you. You don't have to run after finances. Finances start running after you. When you become a sacrificial, that's why the Bible says, Jesus says that when the Son of Man is lifted up high on the cross, he will draw all and everything and everyone unto him. You become attractive in your life. You become a magnet when you start living a sacrificial life, a life which is only about giving. That's the reason why many a times, if you see my ministry, I'd never ask for money. I never ask for offering. I've been doing meditations early in the morning for people. I don't ask for finances. Reason because I just wanted to be the sacrificial person. Of course, I'm coming up with some projects, and surely there's going to be some kind of commitment that people need to do and pay the price for that. I will let you know. But yes, in this case, we got to be people who are ready to sacrifice, who are ready to pay the price. Trust me, when you start paying the price, you will be that resurrected Jesus in your life. Christ who is victorious in your life. So thank you so much. It was amazing talking to each one of you. There are amazing teachings that are going to come up very soon. Bless you guys. Please share these teachings, comment, share, like, keep encouraging me. Your encouragement means a lot because the stuff that we go through is terrible. But when you encourage, it keeps us going, keeps us going, keeps us going. So bless you guys. Love you. Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye.